world's ending, take a look around. You're tuned into the truth, or at least the truest sound. The path to a better planet, humanity's crescendo. Here's the plan, the regular man's manifesto. Regular man's manifesto. Regular man's manifesto. Regular man's manifesto. Regular man's manifesto.
Alright, welcome to the Regular Man's Manifesto. I'm here with Jay McClintock, Cody Pyard.
Zippity zippity doo-dah.
And this is Chase Scribner.
I thought you were Bill Cosby.
I'm not Bill Cosby, no.
Prove it.
Alright, so we're going to cover a topic today. We're going to do the war on drugs. We got a couple talking points about that, and then our top 5 is going to be like personal heroes. We're switching it up again. We're going to go topic first, then cover our top 5 after.
We got to keep you guys on your toes. If you start listening and getting a little relaxed, then you might not enjoy it as much if you don't have that thriller aspect of it all.
Yeah, so we're going to jump straight into the war on drugs. Jay, take it over with your talking points.
All right. Well, we do have a bit of an expert here in-house.
Well, expert.
Cody wrote a paper on this in college recently.
How many pages?
Oh my gosh.
Looks like it was a full
5 or
2 pages.
6.
Oh, 6 pages. Okay.
I'll tell you what, I wrote a 30-page paper, and I never read it ever in my whole life.
Yeah.
What? I keep all that shit.
Chase
I've never
copy
read
pasted it.
I never read it. Like, I wrote the whole thing. I didn't even proofread or anything I was turned in.
Fuck
I
that.
never read any paper I ever wrote my whole life.
Ow.
Because I just turned it in.
Bad.
Not a big reader.
Goddamn genius over here?
How did I pass? Because I'm just that good on first take. I'm Jay-Z, baby.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Just freestyle.
Or I'm just cool with a C. Give me a C.
Yeah, that is passing.
I'm good with
C's
it.
get degrees.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, whatever. I'm cool with it.
All right, let's pop it open with, how is the war on drugs different than prohibition that we had here in America?
I think it's different because alcohol was like widespread. Everybody used it and accepted it, and it's not that way with drugs.
It's not that way?
What?
No, yeah, no.
It's not as widespread, but I mean, it's still.
Well,
fucking
okay, if you
huge.
look at it like this, like, alcohol was legal though, and then they tried to take it away. If drugs were
They
at
took
one
it away
point,
for like 13 years.
if
like
drugs
a
were
long time.
one point legal, not happening, dude. You're not.
But they
taking it
were.
away.
Yeah.
They made these things illegal slowly.
1914 was the first drug law, right?
But it wasn't widespread like use like alcohol is.
I think they just
Accepted.
didn't realize it. Like, they put cocaine in Coke.
Yeah.
Like we were just reading about heroin, and heroin was actually created for people who had morphine addiction.
That really is just like the classic swallowing a spider to kill the fly argument.
Well, that's kind of how they get people off of heroin now, is they use methadone.
Yeah.
Methadone's just as bad.
Yeah. People do whatever they can to get some methadone.
Yeah, I just think
I think it's different.
it's different in some aspects, but overall, I think that some things are in the same lane. I think that us fighting, like in the streets, like trying to get rid of all the
Creates
drug
gangs.
dealers. It creates gangs and all that stuff. Like, there would be no Al Capone if there was no prohibition.
Well, here's my okay. Yeah, that's true. But you're saying there would be no gangs.
There would be gangs, but they'd be in like smaller scale. So prohibition created, like, took a basic street gang, like we're gonna rob you for money, and turned it into a giant empire with millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars.
Yeah, that's actually
like that.
okay. That's
But
actually
once you make something illegal, people see value in it, and then people are going to take advantage of it, no matter what.
Yeah. Okay, I wrote that in my paper actually. Is that people think that if we legalize all these drugs, then the Mexican cartels won't be able to operate in America anymore, and that's just not the case because taxes and regulations on these drugs will drive up the price, and there'll still be a black market. They'll still make all their money.
No.
They'll make less.
They make less even
But
now.
that's not really like what the cartels are trying to do anyways. Yeah, they're trying to make money and stuff, but really they're trying to enforce their like what they want to do. They fucking kill people, and then they have this territory and they control things.
Yeah, but that'd be like saying McDonald's would still have all of the would still be successful if they couldn't sell hamburgers weren't the only ones selling. What's their main sandwich?
But it doesn't matter because McDonald's is such wide scale that there is no they are the market for it. If we created a legitimate market for, say, cocaine, and then the government puts taxes on it and regulations to where it costs a lot to make this cocaine and manufacture it in a legal way, and say you have to go, eventually you go to the cocaine store and it costs you, I don't know, $50 for a gram.
Which
but
is
on the black
cheap.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck the cost of cocaine is.
Way more
but
than
then
that.
on the black market, you can go on the black
Dirt.
market and get it for $30.
Yeah.
It's
right now, the marijuana that's coming out of Colorado is 4 times more potent than you can get coming out of Mexico.
Like
but that's not going to be the same.
American weed is way better than like other weed. Like
weed's different than cocaine is, though, because like
cocaine's pretty much all of it's still coming from Colombia.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, they can make it pure. Like it's no like synthesizing the plant to make it grow a certain way. It's not that like that.
But in Colombia, like cocaine there is like not valued like to the individuals.
Yeah, because
like
they have something like, why would it be?
Like it's nothing. Like so like they take a brick and it's like $1. They'll fucking throw it in the street.
Yeah.
Like here a brick's like $100, $1,000.
I don't think that's true
$2,000,
that you're saying that like you just get whatever you get when you make cocaine. Like we were just watching this documentary on like the legacy or like the gangs that inherited Pablo Escobar's empire. And one of the gang members said, "Oh yeah, I got this new product. It's this liquid form of cocaine, and it's more potent than regular cocaine." He's like, "Oh, I'm really excited to start distributing this to like, the slums around here, and eventually go to the United States."
But wouldn't that just be a different product using the cocaine? But in cocaine in its pure form, would be you can't get it. You can only get to a certain degree of good, and then you can't surpass it like you can with weed.
No, I don't think so.
Because with weed you have different strands, and it grows different, and
I think if like
it's different.
so,
I mean, I get what I understand what you're saying about there's different strains and stuff like that, but I guess we're kind of like getting off topic of what the question was. The question was: Is prohibition the same as the war on drugs? And Cody's saying no, it's not, and I'm saying like yes, it is in some aspects. Like the fact is, back then they said, okay, all alcohol is now illegal, so we're gonna like throw it all away, and then we're gonna put all this money into like defending it, like putting all this police force and all these millions and probably billions of dollars into like stopping the people from using alcohol. But did the consumption of alcohol go down? Probably not.
No. But here's what I was going to say.
But what
earlier.
it did is it turned like regular people like you or me or Jay into criminals because we wanted to drink some booze. So now we go to jail.
Yeah.
Because we want to drink a beer.
I agree with that, but prohibition it was put into place for different reasons than, say, the war on drugs is put into place. Like, prohibition was like, people were beating their wives because they were getting drunk and going home and beating their wives. So, like, there was this whole
leave your husband then.
I forget what the society was called or whatever, but it was women, a bunch of women came together and, like,
what's the lady,
advocated
the Hatchet lady? Marie Hatchet, what was her name? There was this woman.
Yeah.
This old lady that had this hatchet, and she would go around to bars and just start smashing all their booze with this little hatchet. She became really famous for it. It was amazing.
Yeah, well, they had like a whole big organization that's what they advocated.
Well, that's actually what this whole war on drugs started with, is Richard Nixon said that drugs and crime go together. So we're going to start hunting down these drug addicts and getting them off the streets.
But really what I think the war on drug did is fucking made police officers and shit like that racially profile people.
Yeah, I think
the
war on drugs itself is biased.
And when they changed all the laws to like, oh, if you have 100 grams of cocaine, you get 5 years. But if you have 5 grams of crack, you get 5 years.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
That's what I was going to say.
Who has cocaine? Rich people.
Yeah.
Who has crack? Poor people. All the poor people are sitting in our jail wasting all of our tax dollars. It's retarded.
Yeah. Well, there's another
Not saying crack is good or cocaine is good, but just overall in general, that's ridiculous logic.
They might be good. We haven't tried them.
It's bad. It's definitely disproportionate, and it's meant to be that way. So, another fallacy that I was going to bring up is that he said that Nixon said that drugs and crime go hand in hand, but that's not really the case that we've seen recently with like marijuana. Is like, well, people can smoke marijuana and they're not criminals. So it's like a fallacy in that.
Technically, they are criminals because it's still against the law in
Yeah.
most places.
Here's an interesting stat that I found. In 2014, there were 1.5 million arrests for drug law violations, and 83% of them were for possession only.
Most of them's all for possession. So, like, all these people up there, like, selling drugs and shit, like, they rarely catch the people selling it. They mainly just catch people with it on them.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're driving down the road, you get pulled over because you have a broken taillight, and they're like, oh, step out of the vehicle, let's pat you down, and you got, like, one fucking thing of bud on you, and you go to jail for it.
Yeah.
And it goes, that's retarded.
I feel like mainly when they're doing that, they're trying to arrest you so that they can get the bigger fish. And, like, they want to get those distributors. Because that's what, like, talking to a few of my cop buddies is, like, they don't like enforcing these laws. They really don't. But they'll do them when they're, like, trying to, like, execute a bigger plan. They're trying to get a bigger person that, like, is actually, like, either a heroin distributor or just, like, a big drug dealer.
Let's say they do catch that. Say they catch the big fish. It won't fucking matter.
Yeah, somebody's just going to replace
It
them.
doesn't matter. You catch one person and it's just replenished by someone else. It's like the market is so flooded with it. Drugs are easy to get. They're cheap for the most part. I feel like I fucking talk to people all their goddamn time, and a lot of people I talk to do drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Like people you wouldn't even think like, oh yeah, you fucking
whether
use drugs.
it's like a prescription drug or
Prescription drugs are very
Prescription
Or,
drugs just
yeah.
make people feel like it's okay to take that drug.
yeah, when really you're on like an like these things really you could like what's the difference between a prescription drug and like cocaine or heroin or whatever?
Not a lot, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just made by a pharmaceutical company that says it's okay to take them
One
in
of the
small dosages.
one of the big differences is the education that's provided. So like,
So what if we took how much money was spent?
Let's see. All right. The thing that I got in 2010 is the U.S. government spent $15 billion
Okay,
on the war on drugs.
15 billion, 15 billion.
in 1 year.
And it's gone up since then.
Yeah, yeah.
It's way higher
Way higher.
Because I know I was reading earlier that we spent in 2014 we spent $500 million giving money to Colombia, not the Colombian government, but to like guerrilla people out in the jungle fighting drug lords and shit.
It's insane.
It's amazing to me.
It's super weird.
All right, let's go over some of like the deaths and stuff though, because there's a surprisingly large amount of people that die from drug overdose.
But this is including prescriptions.
This
though,
includes prescriptions, so like
which is probably taking up a lot of it.
it's about half based upon the stats I'm reading. 47,000 people died from a drug overdose in 2014.
That's a lot of people.
Let's compare that to 32,000 people died from vehicle accidents, and 41,000 people died from suicide. A lot of people are dying from this.
But do you think? Okay, so
does it warrant the amount of money we're dumping on it?
You just said something about suicide. So would you think that some of these people were like so strung out on drugs and shit that they committed suicide?
Oh, there's obviously.
It's kind of a roundabout way of doing it, I guess.
Well, I know a lot.
Not like as of doing an overdose, but maybe they blow their fucking heads off because they're so fucking high.
Yeah.
on some
Yeah,
shit.
we know. I
can
mean, we
see
know
that,
people
but
that
I
got-
know like one of the number one ways to kill yourself is to overdose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So those two kind of like go hand in
they
hand.
do. Yeah, they do seem to go hand in hand. That's why those numbers are probably so close.
But
together.
even then, though, I mean, like, is that a lot compared to some other things?
So
Well,
if you go
compared
like
to
heart
car
disease,
accidents, though, I mean, it's higher than car accidents, right?
Yeah, by
Like what you said.
17,000.
Car
by
accidents. seem-
15,000. Yeah,
15.
for sure.
That's kind of a high number, but you could just say that's because we're not providing the education that needs to go in, like for these.
Okay,
to
that's
use
one
these
of my
drugs.
topic questions. Is like, how should we treat drug addicts?
And I think that's where the main problem is I feel like everyone focuses so much because they want to focus on like what's interesting. Like going to war with the drug lords and like battling at the border and like shit like that. Like people want to be like, yeah, we're like fighting and kicking ass.
It's like an
and
us
shit.
versus them type of thing.
You know what I mean? But realistically, what we should be doing is saying like, holy shit, these people need help. We need to educate them and provide them with services that help them. Like even other, like not even drug related at all. I guess alcohol is a drug, but think of like people who are alcoholics, like my dad for an example. He's 53 years old, and he just now, after however many DUIs and everything, he's lost all of his money. He's lost his kids. He's lost his life. Everything. All because he just wants to drink alcohol and be a fucking loser. Yeah. And now as a 53-year-old man, after being on house arrest for however long, he's deciding that, oh, I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm not going to drink anymore. And it took you 50, you know what I mean? He's probably been drinking alcohol since he's been 15 or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Takes you 40 fucking years to be like, all right, I get it.
Do you think he could have been treated, though?
And the thing is like, yeah, he went to you know, if you're in jail, you can't drink alcohol, so for the most part, I mean, you can get it, but, and then when you're on house arrest, you have, like, your little ankle bracelet. He has to go take, like, drug tests and shit all the fucking time, but, like, there's ways to get around those. You can get clean pee or whatever it is. I don't know. I never had to deal with it, but just overall, like, he would say, like, yeah, I'm done, I'm not going to drink as an individual. But, like, if you're not, like, if you don't have a super support system around you, like, you're going to fall back into those habits, no matter what, because you're addicted to it. Like, he is addicted to alcohol. Like, if someone's addicted to fucking crack, they need more than just them going, like, I'm not going to do crack anymore.
See, I think that's a perfect word that we should change the war on. We should change it from the war on drugs. We should change it to the war on addiction. Because addiction is not, it's a health issue. You're not a criminal if you're addicted to something.
Should we call it the war, though?
I mean, no, but I'm just saying. But, like, so, like, we're sending these addicts into jails, not mostly non-violent people, for doing drugs, and they're getting into jails, and then they, like, have to become violent. But, like, if we just treated them for the health issue that they have, which is addiction that we all have, and we all have a varying degree of addiction, and we'll let it go so far on certain things. Everybody's addicted to something, but like some people just can't control it, or they take the wrong thing and then they get addicted to it and they can't get out of it. Mm-hmm. And we should treat it as that, as like, you need help. This is a health issue.
So something kind of cool. The old mayor of, I think it's Toronto. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like
talking about the cocaine addict?
No, he did crack.
No.
Oh, was it crack?
No. This dude, like, helped a lot. Like, I'm thinking it's Toronto or
Would have been Toronto.
Somewhere in Canada.
Not Toronto.
Well, somewhere in Canada, this mayor or whatever, like, came mayor, and he was, like, a big advocate of, like, helping addicts and whatnot. So he created business, pretty much, where, like, you could go and get your wounds looked at, like, from you shooting up and shit. Like, go get proper needles. Like, they would provide clean needles and sterilization for people and things like that. And it, like, lowered overdoses and spreads of disease and things like that. Like, lowered all the stuff in this town.
Absolutely.
I feel like it was one of the big cities. It was like Toronto.
I know in UK they have a lot of programs like that where there's houses, or there's, like, places you can go where you can literally just go there and get clean needles and shoot up right there. They've, like, acknowledged that this is a problem that's not going to go away. They're not going to lock you up, but they'd rather have you do it in a clean manner where you're not going to spread disease. You're not going to be, I don't know, like, hiding it. Just, like, being a criminal for it. They've accepted that it's going to be within the community.
So do you think, like, if you do, like, you can shoot up in these more accepted areas, like, you're more likely to accept help for breaking this addiction?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you, like, these areas had, you know, somebody there that was just saying, whenever you're ready to live your life different, I'm here and I can help you get off of this and, you know, battle your addiction.
Makes sense. All right. So do you think that all drugs should be legal?
I think they should.
All drugs.
I think all drugs should be legal because I think people are gonna do them. If they're gonna do them, they're gonna do them.
You're never going
I
to
don't
take
think-
away people's desire to try these drugs or just get hooked on them.
But the only thing I can think about is like if you legalize them, you have to provide the education, and by legalizing them, it's not saying that it's okay to do them.
So we're going to allow pharmaceutical industry to make heroin and cocaine.
Okay. Anyway, hey, so I figured out it's in Vancouver, and the place where you can go like get dry, new needles and things like that. It's called Insight.
Okay.
Yeah, we
But
know.
no, see, that's where I think in America it's like we just think that our capitalist system would take over and somebody would monetize it. But maybe we set up a regulation.
Talking about all drugs right now.
Yeah, say the government sets up some type of regulation or tax to where it would make it so you can't, I don't know, sell it to a certain degree or.
Here's what I see happening.
I say okay.
I think it would just be like the period. I don't know how long the period would be from legalization to like stabilized society again, but it would be a very tumultuous 5 to 10 years
Where people are just doing it.
where it's just out of control. Like, it would be kind of precarious, honestly, for society if like there's just free flowing drugs for a lot of people that just. It should be taken away from them, or like because they're on the edge or whatever.
See, that's why I think that like the education comes in. Is where if we educate people, this is your brain on this drug. This is what you're gonna feel like. This is what's gonna happen to you if you continue use, and people should know like what is going to happen to them, and it's gonna deter a lot of people from doing it.
Yeah.
So like Puerto Rico legalized all drugs because they had a massive drug problem that they could no longer deal with. And what did it do? It lowered drug use, and it lowered disease. It lowered drug use. It lowered the amount of people they put into prisons. It just all around made the country better.
Putting people in prison.
That's an island, though.
Because it's like the taboo though that goes with taking a drug. They took it away from them. Like it's legal. It's acceptable now. You can do it wherever you want. You can do it in the town square. Doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Do it wherever, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But like you just said, like it took people out of the jails and stuff. That's a huge thing. Is like all these people are in jail for all these like petty crimes, like small amounts of marijuana or small amounts of whatever. It's talking about how the average cost to like have someone in jail is anywhere from like $25,000 to $26,000 per year. This is an older thing. This is like from 2003 or
It's
something.
in
like
the
that.
30s now.
Yeah, it's probably more than that now. But it's saying that most of the people that are in jail are there for like petty crimes and stuff, like non-violent things.
Yeah.
So it's saying that if you took all those prisoners that are non-violent and put them on like parole, or you put them on like house arrest, or you put them on things like that only costs like $1,000 to $3,000 per person. So like over the course of like all governments, you'd save almost $17 billion a year. If you just let all these people out of jail, these non-violent crimes.
Here's what I think the war on drugs is. It's like a perpetual war that'll never end. It's just like what we're doing in Iraq or like with the war on terrorism. It's this perpetual war that'll never end, and we've just made
Vicious circle.
a vicious circle that is the industrial complex of our prison system.
Here's what I think it is. I think it's more of a war on the undesirables. This part of the population that certain people don't like being around. So imagine, say, you're at O'Reilly's drinking a beer. And this little homeless fella comes up to you, starts asking you, like, oh yeah, can I get a cigarette? Can I get a cigarette? Till finally, like, you get harassed by him, and you finally call the police. Police want to get this guy out of the area, so they frisk him or whatever, find a little bit of drugs on him. Now he's gone.
Yeah, but that's not the case with everybody that's in jail.
I feel like that's a lot of the cases.
No way. There's tons
It's
of
the
people.
undesirables.
There's tons of people that are in jail for not having that much fucking drugs on them,
Mm-hmm.
or like are just like productive people in society, but they
The
do
people with
drugs.
money, though, like, get out of it.
Yeah, if you get for the most part, if you have a small amount of drugs on you, you hire a good lawyer, you can get out of it pretty easily.
It's the poor, like very uncouth part of the population that they're like trying to keep off the streets.
Well, that's why they, 100 grams of cocaine, it gets you 5 years, and 5 grams of crack gets you 5 years.
Exactly. That's proof positive of what I was just saying, right there.
Yeah, I mean,
I get what you're targeting these, like...
It's war on poor people and the minorities, for sure. But it's still, I mean, fuck it, dude. If you want to do crack, go do crack. If crack was legal right now, would any of you do it?
Fuck no.
No, because you know what crack could do to you.
But like crack,
it's that simple.
Even now, someone was like, "Hey, you want to do some crack?" I would say no. I wouldn't care if it's illegal or not.
Yeah, but if it did turn legal and people were,
it wouldn't change me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to change anybody who knows what crack does to people. We're still going to have, if every drug got legal, like what
I would do some other shit.
What
probably.
you were saying about it would just be a crazy 5-10 years or something of people just doing drugs. I don't think so, because I think quickly people would see examples of people who had done those drugs.
You're the CEO of your business that you work at.
And
you're
they
like working
easily
in the
just
office.
like lose control of their
Everyone's
fucking
just
lives.
fucked up.
They just lose control of their lives.
I just think that there should be more educate. Like I agree with you. I think there should be more education on drugs and like what they do and whatnot. And I think that for certain drugs, they should be used in. Not saying they should be used, but they can be used in moderation. The same way that, if you eat in moderation and you exercise in moderation, you do whatever in moderation, you can live a nice, healthy, balanced lifestyle.
Yeah.
Nobody can do heroin in moderation.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible. But I would say, like, the war on drugs is hindering some uses of these drugs for, like, good
You
things.
mean, like,
I was referring
ecstasy?
to like regular.
Yeah, like
drugs.
ecstasy for veterans
Yeah.
to combat their
PTSD. Like, yeah,
PTSD.
what's the study that says that if you try and like reprogram these stressful memories with ecstasy, it helps get rid of the PTSD?
I'm assuming they're having a great time.
Yeah. So I feel like trying to imagine, like I'm trying to think of this. So they would give somebody ecstasy and then have them talk about their most traumatic, horrifying memory. And then, like, from then on, it would either just be, like, less horrifying or, like, not a kind of a pleasurable experience.
Yeah, see, I think
you make that association.
Yeah, you make that association in your mind with that memory of, like, you were happy when you were talking about that memory. So, like, euphoric while you're talking about it, so that's what you remember. And it lessens the effect.
So we're kind of, like, hindering this whole, like, medicinal or, like, progressive possibilities, this potential of drugs.
See, but like a
by
drug,
being so afraid of them.
But like a drug like ecstasy or like Molly or stuff, like can be used in moderation though. Like heroin can't be. I'm pretty sure cocaine can be used in moderation.
Yeah.
I feel like there's people that do cocaine and then don't do cocaine.
Theoretically, I mean, if you like control doses of heroin, I would assume.
Yeah, I think it easily gets out of hand for anybody who does it, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that'd be like same thing with like sleeping pills or antidepressants.
Okay, one thing before I forget about it, though. Would you guys think it would be okay to have like a building, like a rec center or something? It's not really a rec center, but like...
Don't put it downtown is all I'm saying.
A place where you could go, do your drugs, get clean needles, get clean supplies, and these people could do their drugs in that place.
Will you pay?
No.
It's free.
Tax dollars would pay for the needles and all these things to clean up our communities. Because I know in Indiana, I'm not exactly sure where it's at, but we had 52 cases of HIV because of a heroin
It was just
epidemic.
south of here, I think.
Yeah, it was a HIV epidemic because people were sharing needles. So then you have this whole small community fucking devastated because of heroin and people sharing needles.
I think that most people don't know that like HIV is mainly transmitted through these needle transactions.
How do they not know that?
Like I remember having this conversation with my dad saying like, no, like that is seriously how it is, like, and he thought it was just like sexually transmitted disease mainly. But it's needles. It's like that blood on blood contact.
It's kind of it's mainly blood based.
And I learned that in
it's
school.
Not even like particular. I remember in school where like they were like making it sound like if you had HIV and you had sex with someone who didn't, like they get it no matter what.
Yeah.
But like that's not fucking true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But with
I
needles,
don't remember it that way.
dude, no, I'm for real. Like
I
that's
remember
not
the
fucking...
guy explaining it some way where like somebody was like, well, so if you like swap spit with somebody, how much spit would it be? And he like you'd have to dump a gallon of spit into their face.
Yeah,
To
but
keep
if you had
somebody
if you had a cut in your mouth
yeah.
and your mouth was bleeding and you put it in their mouth, then they get it.
Yeah.
For the most part, but
that's one of the grossest things we probably talked about here on the podcast.
Yeah.
but I mean, like, yeah, the sharing of needles is. I think people know that, but once you're on heroin and you're bumping
You
the
don't
heroin
fucking
in your
care,
fucking
man.
crack house, you don't give a fuck. You just want to hit. You just want to hit.
You're like, I would rather die than not have this next hit of heroin.
Yeah.
All right. So say that we do kind of legalize drugs and everything. What would we do with the police force? Should we like have them focus on something else? Should we like get rid of a lot of police? Because that's their main goal. That's their main objective.
I don't know.
Now, right?
I don't know why can't they just continue their jobs and do their jobs on other aspects better? Because I know, like, if you murder somebody, likelihood is you're not gonna get caught. So like,
as long as you don't
couldn't
know
they just
them.
like do a better job at catching people who fucking murder people, and like at
Yeah.
all these other aspects that they're not doing a great job at?
Yeah. Like, there was an arsonist on the loose for a
Oh,
while
I feel like
here in
I
Fort
don't think
Wayne.
they ever got caught.
I don't think so
Dude,
either.
burned a
People
bunch of
don't- I mean,
houses
dude,
in
it's
my
hard.
mom's
I feel
neighborhood.
like it's hard to get caught. You gotta be stupid to
Yeah,
get caught doing some of this shit.
yeah. You have to be an arsonist with oddly shaped feet, so that you're not getting away from these.
Anchorman reference.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like, I get what you're saying. Like, there's times where, like, literally the last, or 2 weeks ago when I left here, I was driving down Jefferson, like, through downtown, and the dude next to me was fucking the drunkest guy I've ever watched drive in my whole life. I was terrified. I was like, oh, I'm going to get past him. And I was like, fuck, if I had a red light or anything. I was going so slow. Because I was like, I'm just going to stay behind him. Cops behind me running my fucking plates.
Yeah.
Watching this dude, he's all over the fucking road. It was unbelievable.
Maybe he was
Well,
jerking off.
Couldn't you just
Dude.
generate more tax dollars in that way? Like,
Yeah.
Fucking,
Would we be mad though if we start just like rapidly getting way more speeding tickets? If we're, cause I speed pretty.
If you're on
pretty-
speed, then you should probably get a speeding ticket.
I am speeding every time I drive.
I speed
No.
probably a little bit every time I drive.
No,
but,
I'm saying-
but overall, I don't.
I'm
speed
saying
that
it
much.
would like you get more tax dollars revenue from like DUI. Like we create a test for like if you're on cocaine right now, you shouldn't be driving.
Yeah.
It'd be the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
You're
So they just got these stops. Pee into this little box here, and it'll tell us what drug you're on.
yeah.
What? Well, okay.
I don't think that'd be
Yeah.
that'd
It won't
pass.
be a
but-
pee box.
yeah, no.
It'd be tough to
I
like
don't
figure
think
too
too
it
many
many
out.
boxes.
people pee.
I
Yeah.
feel like it'd be tough to figure that out. You know what I mean? Like on the spot, like real quick.
Somebody could figure
Some
it out.
type
dude.
of technology
You
later. down the
can't.
line.
It's not like blood alcohol level, like especially marijuana. Like you can't test that somebody is like.
Somebody's gonna come
on-
up with a test for it eventually, though. It's
Well,
gonna
I know
happen.
that if I'm fucking high and I'm fucking driving and I get pulled over, say I had nothing to drink at all, I'm definitely under the influence. 100%. I fucking die. Like I cannot even function as a human being when I'm high. I can't. I'm not good at being high.
Can't they still take you in if they can
Yeah.
visibly see that?
100%. They can take. I was talking to
But
our
they'll
cop
never
buddy
be able
about
to
that.
prove it in court, though.
And no, it's because you're still under the influence. Like they can still take you in.
No,
Yeah. Good luck proving it in court, though. Like.
you didn't take any test of me being under anything. Yeah.
Well, like at that point, I believe that they would probably maybe make you go do a blood test or something like that. I know you can get.
Even
I know
then-
you can get like OWIs and stuff or whatever.
Yeah,
while-
I think you'd be like at that point. By the time they get you to the hospital, get you all set up, take your blood, you're probably like way less high than you were.
It wouldn't
before.
matter though; it'd still be in your system.
I don't think it's
Well,
in your
I'm-
blood.
I'm thinking
like
that- if shit got legalized, somebody's gonna come up with the technology to test this
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah.
Do you think like in Colorado and shit, it's a big problem? Like everyone's high at work and shit.
No, it's not a problem at all in Colorado with weed. It's fucking great there.
Yeah.
They're just generating a ton of money. for their state.
They're doing pretty well. They're setting a
Crime
pretty
is down.
solid example there in Colorado.
Crime is down too.
I talked to a dude that lives in Colorado, and he lived there before, and now he lives there now, and he lives kind of like downtown area, and he's pissed.
Why?
Like, he's like mad because like all these homeless people and shit are everywhere all the time now. Like, they like park their vans and shit like on his road and just like live out in the streets and shit, and like, so they said that kind of stuff's really bad.
Well, I mean, with prosperity, you get homeless people. That's
And I said, well, why don't you move? And he was just like, well, I like my house, and like I like where I live, and my neighborhood's nice and shit, but just like all these like decrepits just like kind of like came in, and like,
Well,
I
they
don't
need
know.
to legalize it everywhere.
Yeah, then they'll spread out a little more.
Yeah.
So, okay, do you think that the war on drugs will ever end? And in a way, do you think it will just be like a harsh end, or will it be like with marijuana?
Didn't the UN just have a huge meeting about this like in April?
I don't know. Tell me about it.
I was like, I just remember seeing something on like pop up on like a news.
We did read an article where they said, no, it was a world convention of these 20 self-appointed committee members declare that the war on drugs was a failure and that needs to end.
Oh, it is a failure. It's a huge
super failure. Yeah, 100%.
We spend so much fucking money, and like the results are
We
horrible.
can't just do a 180. When do you ever see just like a 180 on policy like
Well,
that?
okay, here's the thing about the war on drugs, though. We spend all this money, but people using drugs isn't going down, and all we're doing is filling up our prison system.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing.
Yeah, but
Crime isn't going down, drug use isn't going down, nothing's going down.
I guess you did see a 180 with prohibition.
Yeah.
You did, like, it's possible, I guess, but like I feel like it's slowly, like you see with marijuana is slowly being not decriminalized, but so like you
Like
can use
socially
it for
acceptable.
more socially acceptable, and you can use it for medical use, and then finally it's decriminalized in I think 3 states at this point.
Yeah. Well, Washington, Colorado, and
Oregon,
Oregon.
pretty
Those
sure.
two?
Yep.
And Alaska.
What?
Alaska?
Really?
Really?
Okay.
Nice. 4. So yeah, like it's slowly. I feel like it's just it's kind of turning around slowly, but it's not gonna do a 180.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. Is so do you think it'd be like drug by drug, the same way marijuana is? It's
No.
gotta be that specific drug, is getting legalized.
Yeah.
So like on the like say ecstasy could be legalized for medical use.
Yeah, that might come after. I think marijuana is obviously the first choice, and then I think if that takes off, like people see all these profits coming in from it, lower crime, then I think the next thing would be something like ecstasy and maybe cocaine, or it wouldn't be like morphine or what's the
What about like LSD? I read an article.
LSD and acid maybe.
I read an article. Nobody overdoses on. You can't. I'm pretty sure it's impossible to overdose on LSD. And I read an article recently that said when you take it, all of your bad memories, pretty much, that it's pretty much the same as ecstasy, where it's like they are greatly like reducing, and you just like are euphoric and
Really?
the same way. Like your cognition changes, and you're just like a happier person.
I can see that. I mean, so if we start seeing trends like this, but at the same time, it'll still be, it's whatever the media says, I think.
Yeah.
We
That's
don't
a
know.
long way away.
I feel like
before-
most people don't know that the war on drugs is a failure.
Yeah, I think that's true.
You can't say, and you also, like, the war on terrorism is still considered, like, this
It's just
big
perpetual
push.
war.
Yeah, like, I mean, most people wouldn't call these things a failure. Like, we lost. We're just still fighting the good fight.
Yeah. It's hard when there's no real enemy. When the enemy is just like,
What's the next big
This
war
fake
on thing?
thing.
What do you think the next big war on thing is, though? The war on laziness. The war on, like, what's something?
Well,
hasn't
mean,
it
like-
almost always been like a war on something though? Like the war on communism.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Because, but
I don't know.
then we had direct enemies though.
Ever since mass communication, like TV and radio, I think it's been kind of that way.
We should have a war on like fucking.
Well, war
community-
on witches, the Salem witch trial. It has been like that. Like you just communicate with most people that you can. This is our invisible enemy,
Yeah.
When in reality, it's just a person that I don't like a lot of their characteristics.
Yeah.
Let's fucking do them in.
Let's burn them at the stake and find out if they're a witch. If they burn, they're not a witch. Whoops.
So I don't know what do you guys think would be the next war on thing?
I don't know. I like what
That'd be
you were
cool.
talking about, like lazy and shit. The war on fast food, something like that. Like something where people are looking for
War
healthier,
on fat people.
Yeah, we're looking for healthier
The
options.
war on obesity.
The
Yeah.
war on fat people, we just start locking up. When they reach a certain weight, we're like,
The
no.
war
bro.
on old people, or like,
Yeah,
War on
fucking-
old people driving.
yeah. Hey, I am gaining steam right now with the legislation to get 85-year-old and plus off the roads.
All right. Well, I think that we're gonna wrap that one up there.
Okay, all right,
Fine, I guess. I guess our conversation's over.
whatever, Chase.
Well, we stopped talking about drugs and shit, so we might as well
We're
move
talking
on.
about the war on.
The war on fucking old
The
people
war
driving.
on changing topics.
It's the war on
But
end
we're
of
not ready.
conversations.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, let's keep going then.
Yeah, Chase. So, like, what's your beard like lately?
Just normal, like.
The war on beards.
The war on beards. Do you have to comb it each day? Is like a shampoo and
Use
conditioner
beard
thing
oil.
you get going
Sometimes I use beard oil. when it
Alright,
gets
go on
long.
to the next fucking topic. Killed our vibe.
Well, what the fuck? I mean, where are you going anywhere with that?
I don't know.
You just mumble
Maybe.
along.
Maybe.
It's hard to say, really, at this point.
We're freestyling here.
All right, we're gonna jump into the top 5. We're gonna do personal heroes. I know Jay's really looking forward to this one, so I'll let him start it off.
Okay, yeah, really looking forward to it because I got a lot of heroes. Number 5, Cool Hand Luke, aka Luke Jackson. This is a fictional character.
What the fuck is that?
It's a movie that I know you haven't seen it, Cody. I think Chase has seen it.
I've seen it.
It's a friggin' awesome movie. This dude's just like a badass. It's kind of anti-society, and he just lives his life kind of like sticking it to the man. He's Cool Hand Luke. You ought to check it out, man.
Yeah.
In one scene, he gets put in prison because he saws the tops off of all of the coin machines for parking downtown in the city that he's in.
Yeah.
And he gets thrown in prison for that, and he just basically tries to like stick it to the man the whole time he's in there.
Huh.
He eats 50 eggs at one point, which did not know was possible.
What a random.
It's a
fucking
weird
person.
movie, but it's pretty cool.
It's a good movie. It's classic.
Okay. My
It's
number.
Robert Redford, right? And who plays him?
No, that's gosh dang it, now I'm drawing a blank.
Who plays him?
It's not Robert Redford.
It's something like that. They look very similar.
No.
They look very similar, though.
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman. Okay, but Paul Newman and Robert Redford look really close. Like,
Nope.
I have no clue
They
who
don't?
either of those people
No, they
are.
do not.
are you sure?
All right.
They're both old
My
white
number
guys.
5. I'm gonna pick Gary Yourofsky, and I picked him because he's like a big vegan dude, and I watched one of his videos, and it made me go vegan. So
His video was the turning point of your veganism.
Yep.
Gary was. A guy named Gary.
yeah, I mean he's very persuasive.
Yeah?
I thought it was just a great argument, and I pursued like more knowledge after watching his video. So
Hey man, check that out. Gary Yourofsky.
All right. That's cool. My number 5 is going to be Tim Tebow. That's my homie, man.
Professional baseball player.
And so anyway, I'm not like super into religious or anything. I just really think like him as an individual is just like someone that you should look up to. And the fact that he's like super into sports and he's like always trying to better himself and everything. I think me personally, I believe that he is the greatest college football player of all time. But that's just me. I know he's definitely up there, probably on a lot of people's lists. He had a great career in college, and I think that in the NFL, he tried his best.
He did. He went out
did
there.
his best.
He
Why
did
is
his
it
best.
so hard to change your throwing motion?
I mean,
Why was that something he just couldn't do?
you've been throwing that way for fucking.
And he did. Well, the
ever.
thing is he did change his throwing motion, but
It
it's
made
like,
him worse.
yeah, it made him. I mean, he never particularly played bad. It was just that he just was unorthodox.
He could have translated to like a fullback or something though, and would have been a good fullback.
Yeah, but I mean, he wanted to
That's
get
what
into other
everybody
things.
says.
It's all
Alright,
good.
Whatever.
He's still the awesomest awesomer in the whole awesome world.
Alright. I'm going to relish this opportunity to introduce you guys and the world to a person I think is just underappreciated in the history of the United States. Stephen Decatur Jr.
Who?
I recently read a book about the first war that we participated in the United States. Was like these Barbary pirates were taking our ships hostage in North Africa and like ransoming back to the United States. So we sent this fleet over there, and this is the very first like United States naval captains. One of those guys was named Stephen Decatur Jr. And he went on all these like missions that you would think, oh, that's from a movie. No, this guy really did it. For instance, one of our main frigates was captured by the enemy, so he volunteered to lead this like suicide mission into this harbor as a mercenary or like a fake. Dang it, what's the word I'm looking for?
A spy?
Yeah, so like he disguised his ship as one of their ships and sailed into the harbor, jumped onto the frigate, set it on fire, and then sailed out of the harbor like getting shot at with cannons and stuff. They killed all these people on their way in and out.
Damn.
Amazing. So in this other battle, him and his brother were like going around their boat shooting at people, and his brother was killed by this Barbary pirate captain because he was tricked. So Stephen Decatur Jr. chased this Barbary captain's boat down, jumped on his ship, and got into this sword fight with him, and like nearly died, but pulled out his pistol at the last second and shot this guy in the head. All of his escapades are amazing.
Yeah.
And he finally died in a duel back in the United States.
Fucking duels.
Everything about this guy is amazing.
Yeah.
He was like the first war hero celebrity in the United States.
Dying in a duel is a good way to go, though.
He went down, yeah, like it was kind of ridiculous how he died, but whatever.
Well, damn.
Yeah, like he just couldn't accept his pride being challenged.
I think a lot of great people have died
Top
in duels.
that, Cody.
All right, I will. My number 4, Iron Man.
Oh, why? Tell us
Dang,
more.
he's been in a bunch of battles.
I don't know. Iron Man was always my favorite superhero, and like
Because he's kind of an asshole.
I'm thinking about it now. Like just because he's like always he's a genius. He made like his own superpowers pretty much, but like in the same respect, I hate Batman because Batman isn't super at all. So I don't know. Like I don't know why like Iron Man.
Goddamn hypocrite is what you are.
But Iron Man like can fly and shit. So he's like is super because he made himself super. Batman's just like I don't know, rich.
And connections.
Yeah.
But
knowledge.
The new Batman. But Batman, I would prefer watching a Batman movie than an Iron Man movie any day.
Fuck you.
Any day.
Every day.
All right, my number 4 is going to be Andre Karolinko.
AK-47.
So he's a basketball player. Played in the league for a long time. He just recently retired. Kind of. I'm not sure if he's actually like officially retired or not, but he is the man. I'm telling you what, if you play 2K and get him on your team, because he is a monster.
Be ready.
Get the old, like if you do like the my team or stuff like that, get an old version of him, like an old card. He's a fucking beast. Unstoppable. Can shoot. Can play D. All over all over somebody on defense. Lockdown defender.
Because he's super tall.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he's my favorite basketball player, like all time. Like that's who I've always liked.
He flip flops though, so
no, that's definitely my favorite player.
He might say a different player on a different podcast.
Okay.
I also chose an athlete. I went with Chipper Jones of the Atlanta Braves, and I really don't like a lot of his personal choices.
What do you mean?
Cheating on his wife with a waitress at I think it was a Waffle House. And then
What?
Yeah,
like Kanye West.
He's kind of a redneck.
That's my number 3.
He's kind of a redneck, but I just like him as a baseball player. I felt like he was always super clutch, and he was just like kind of the quintessential baseball player for me. Growing up, I always idolized the way he played the game.
All right. My number 3, Kanye West.
Dude, I feel like I want Kanye West too. I'm gonna join you.
Yeah. So, just like, dude, he's fucking rock star, and I think he's just doing it. He's living his life, doesn't give a fuck what people say about him, and he's like a great artist, and like he can back up what he says.
He does
it's
give
fucking
a fuck
awesome.
what people say about him.
He does to a certain extent, but like Dude, like, he does everything that he would want to do. Like, if I could think of somebody fulfilling, like, their life to the completeness, it would be, like, Kanye West. Is doing that.
Whatever. Hey.
Yeah.
I like his music. Don't really give a shit about the whole persona that he's put together.
Yeah.
I think it's
But, I mean, he does
ridiculous.
what he... Like, so he's, like, a great artist, and then he's like, fuck it, I want to be a designer. And that's what he's trying to do. So I think that's cool that, like, he's not putting himself in a box, and he's, like, saying that to people, like, I don't want to be put in a box. I have all these ambitions that I want to do, so I'm going to fucking do them.
I guess I mainly like him the way that he was so innovative when it came to, like, making music. Like, no one would ever say that Kanye West is, like, a good rapper, but he knows how to make a good song. Like, so, and, like, another thing, too, is I can listen to a whole Kanye West album, the whole thing, from start to finish. And with a lot of artists, it's hard to listen to every song and be like, okay, I get what message he's putting forward, and you understand the whole thing. So, I like Kanye West. And that was the greatest concert I've ever been to in my whole life.
Yeah, me too. So.
All right, cool. So, my number 3 is going to be Ed Cohn. So he is kind of known as like being the greatest powerlifter of all time. He's super small. He's like 5'6", and the main weight class he competed at was like the 220 weight class, and he set like pretty much every single record for that, like in equipped lifting and raw lifting. And he's just like this total fucking monster. And like another guy on my list too, him, they like have a bunch of videos together. Like you can look him up on YouTube and stuff. He like set all the records for like squat, bench, deadlift for weight class.
Nice.
Yeah.
All around beast mode.
Oh yeah, like if you look first everywhere, he's just like the monster. He actually had the highest total, which like if you do a powerlifting meet, you do squat, bench, and deadlift. He actually held the record for the highest total out of all weight classes at 220 pounds.
Jeez.
So like you could be 600 pounds and not lift as much as him. Yeah.
What a beast.
Monster.
Alright. Another big heavy lifter. My grandpa. Coming in at number 2.
Oh man, you're putting personal people in.
Yeah,
damn it.
I had to put him on that list.
Makes me feel like shit if I don't.
You gotta pick one of your family.
You can do some
I
honor.
can't.
You can do some
I can't.
honoring. You know, like some,
Yeah.
like I would say that like my mom would be on there, but like
Yeah.
were you?
Yeah, I like he's the person I go to looking for like advice. I mean, I feel like I modeled a lot of my behavior after him. He's just a cool fucking guy.
Yeah.
This golf game could use some work, but whatever.
Is this the grandpa I met?
Yeah.
He was cool.
Yeah, like I hang out with him. I literally choose to hang out with my grandpa when I have like other really fun things to choose from.
Yeah.
He doesn't go over there specifically for food.
Yeah.
Although I mean, I do go. I'd love getting some grilled cheese sandwiches from my
I've
grandma.
had them. They're delicious.
They're fucking amazing. They don't skimp on the ingredients neither. Like you get the finest Velveeta cheese in the whole wide world, the finest
Master of the
butter
art.
and the best bread.
Man, I want some grilled cheese sandwiches so bad right now.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah, they do.
All right, my number 2, Pablo Picasso. I'm putting him just because I think he's an innovator and
Pablo Picasso. You just said what?
yeah. Why not? I like art.
Did not see that coming.
And
not.
You
like he
never
broke,
mentioned Pablo Picasso.
he's
before.
broken all the limits. Like he broke it all. He like broke it wide open.
I'm not gonna lie.
I
I,
love
had
his
no
art.
idea that his name was Pablo.
Yeah, wasn't he
Picasso.
kind of a child molester?
I don't know. I hope not. But yeah, I would say probably my favorite artist. So like, just like I went to the Chicago Museum not too long, a couple years ago, I guess. And like they had like this whole exhibit on him, and it was just amazing. Like they had his fucking doodles that he did on like napkins and shit.
Yeah.
And it was just like
The guy just kind of viewed the world in a very unique and interesting
Yeah.
way.
it's
That's
like
for
holy
sure. And
shit.
you just made me think of a person that I want to mention as an honorable mention.
Mhm.
So
You want to do it now?
Wait.
you want to kind of do it now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
fuck
do it
before I
now.
forget.
So, yeah.
Ernest Hemingway.
yeah.
I feel
Okay.
like he's kind of a
Party animal.
man's man. Wrote great books. Oh, what a
Drank a
fantastic-
bunch. Had sex with a lot of people.
Mhm.
Somebody that
Photos
I'm
head
super
off.
interested in the same like as a book writer is Hunter S. Thompson. That is an interesting fucking dude.
An insane person.
Yeah, but I mean, he wrote good ass books.
Yeah, he did.
So, well, that'd be an honorable mention.
I feel like if I had like an author counterpart that I would ever model myself after, it would be Ernest Hemingway.
Okay.
The person whose books I've read the most of would be Stephen King, but I would try and emulate Ernest Hemingway.
His life?
His life and his writing, really.
Yeah.
Alright.
His writing really speaks to me.
So my number 2 is gonna be Bill Romanowski. My favorite.
Number 2?
He's my number 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Number 1 is going to shock me, I feel like.
No, it's not. Well, like I kind of changed the way I think, but so anyway, like Bill Romanowski is like known as being like the super dirty, aggressive, psychopath football player. He set all of these records for like playing in the most Super Bowls. I think he has the record for a linebacker with the most Super Bowl rings, maybe. He has 4. And he had a lot of tackles and like he played a lot, but he got in trouble a lot too. Like he was like real big into like steroids and things like that. And I read his book like a bunch. Like I don't read at all, and I read his book like 3 times.
Damn.
I remember him like coming at me when he first read the book. He was like, "Dude, you have to like read this book." I'm like, "No." Chase Scribner just recommended a book that I read.
But man, he was so awesome. Like it was just so like inspiring. Like when I started reading about him in high school, I was like probably like a sophomore or something when that book came out. And I was just like reading it, and he was like talking about how like you always gotta like push yourself and like always try to get better at everything that you're doing, no matter what. Like even if you fail, like you know you gotta like try every day. So it's like say if you suck at something, like an example, like he was like really small when he first got to high school, so he would be the first person in the gym every day, and he would be the last person to leave. Like so his work ethic was just like way more than everyone else's, and like you know then finally his genetics took over, and he ended up growing, and he ended up like just dominating in like everything he ever did. So it's just really cool.
Yeah.
But now he's kind of loopy.
Yeah, well,
So, but
a
no,
lot of brain
he has
injury.
he has a nutrition company, and you know, and he's been in some movies and acting and stuff. And
Yeah,
shit
he
like
was in Benchwarmers, and I think at one point he twists his own nipples
that.
and yells, "Ah!"
He's
I
in
do
Benchwarmers,
believe he
and
does
he's in
that.
The Longest Yard and stuff. He plays with the policeman.
Yeah, so he's known as like he's really building this psychopath.
He is crazy. Like an example would be during a practice, him and another teammate got in a fight, and he ripped that teammate's helmet off and punched him in the eye so bad that he lost his eye, like dislocated this dude's eye from the eye socket. And this guy could never do anything. Like he had to retire from football and shit.
Oh shit.
From fighting him.
That, and the moral of the story is don't be his friend. You can emulate him all you want to, not be friends
But
with
dude,
him.
he was crazy. Yeah, he would talk about in his book. He talks about like when you're in a pile, like you always want to look for competitive advantage. So he would grab people's fingers and break their fingers.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he was really dirty, but he was fucking badass. He set the record for most consecutive games in a row playing as a linebacker.
Damn.
Well, yeah, that's a tough one. I'm surprised. I really am surprised he's not your number 1.
No, my number 1 will be better than that.
Okay.
You might know who my number 1 is.
I feel like anybody that knows me should know what my number 1 is.
I don't think anybody's gonna know mine.
I talk about him any chance I get.
Yeah.
Teddy Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt. The best president the United States has ever had.
Yeah.
Refute that if you can.
Yeah, well, I
I
mean,
mean-
tell me why you like
Yeah,
him, Jay.
why?
He's a progressive president. Most national parks created. He was a freaking war hero. He
Rough Rider.
great family man. Yeah, he was a Rough Rider.
Oh yeah.
And like a legendary writer. He wrote books. He did everything. He was a freaking rancher for a period of time.
Sounds like a badass.
He was an absolute badass. And he was challenged to a duel. Couldn't see very far at all. Refused to decline this duel with this legendary gunfighter. He was definitely going to die against. He was prepared to go up against this guy to the very end. Because that's like how intense of a human being he is. Like he just thought he could win no matter what.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
And he was the closest third-party candidate of all time.
Yeah. Wasn't that for his 3rd term?
Yeah. So he made the mistake. It really wasn't against the law to run for a 3rd term back then.
Yeah.
So he said in the
Even-
second term that he's not going to run again.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of pressured him into it, and then he regretted that decision, and then his chosen successor, Taft, was really bungling all of his policies. So when he got back from shooting a bunch of, like, animals in Africa and, like, traveling the world, he's like, oh, I need to go back and set these things right. So he created a whole new party called the Bull Moose Party, and nearly won.
Yeah.
He got more fucking votes than the Taft, the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know
That was
that
badass.
if I could vote for a party right now, it'd be the Rhinoceros Party.
The Rhinoceros Party of Canada. That guy needs to be my hero because
Yeah.
if anybody is curious about like obscure Canadian political parties, like that's something you might be mildly curious in. Look up the Rhinoceros Party and their platform.
You will fucking love it.
You will love it. because
we might post a video to the Facebook.
we
page.
should. I feel like we should
We have
because it's very valid.
Okay. My number one. Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Shut up!
Oh yeah!
Step
to the Slim Jim.
Yeah.
Macho Man Randy
Yeah.
Savage.
Everyone's a savage at heart, baby.
R.I.P.
What?
Everyone's a
Yeah.
savage, bro.
Dude, he was my hero growing up.
Yeah.
Macho Man.
Yes.
Mine would
Macho
be,
Man.
If I'm picking
Randy
a wrestler,
Savage.
if I'm picking a wrestler, it goes Goldberg, then Macho Man Randy.
Mine's
Savage.
Stone Cold
Macho-
Steve Austin.
Macho Man was my fucking hero growing up. I just love,
Because
dude.
he always had
Whenever
two
I was
chicks on
like
his side.
fucking like backyard wrestle, flying elbow is my move. I fucking just, he was awesome, dude.
And then now your move is choking people out. So it's
Yeah.
like pretty damn close. Flying elbow, choking someone out.
Yeah.
Flying
No,
elbow.
I just loved like his like showmanship and like he had the fucking Miss Elizabeth hot ass babe on his arm. Oh, dude, he was awesome. Dude, I
I love
fucking
it.
love Macho Man.
You
That one got
modeled
me
your
fired
life.
up, man. That
So
got me-
I'm looking at you, Cody, right now, thinking this man.
I had a hard time coming up with heroes. Macho Man was the first person I wrote down on this list.
What part of your life emulates anything about Macho Man?
I don't know. Like in my later years, no. My younger years, growing up, it was all about Macho Man.
I love it.
Alright, fine.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, baby, my number one.
Step into the Slim Jim, baby.
All right, my number one is gonna be Mark Bell, and he is a power lifter. He owns a gym called Super Training Gym, and he's like,
Super training?
I'm seeing
Yeah.
a trend here. Power lifter.
yeah. So, well, like business owner, and he's like, yeah, power lifter and stuff. He does like a bunch of seminars and things like that. The gym's in Sacramento. That's why when we drove past Sacramento in California, I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to go to that city. But it was like it was kind of like off the highway that we were off. But no. So I just think that like his philosophy of life, like he's like really goofy, the way that I'm goofy, and he's like super into training and things like that. And I just like respect like his work ethic. Like this dude tears his pec, and the next day he's bench pressing again. Like he's just like that intense of a person. So I have this quote by him. It says, I fell with 1,080 pounds on my back. One of my training partners tried to carry me off. He said, here, rest on my shoulders. I said, get the fuck away from me. The reason being I walk and stand on my own 2 feet is because I'm a man, and that's what I do.
Damn.
So this dude's just like a total fucking badass.
I bet he could eat Macho Man Randy Savage.
Macho Man would fucking destroy him.
He's also known on, like, if anyone wants to know who he is, you might know him from Bigger, Faster, Stronger. His brother is Chris Bell, who wrote Bigger, Faster, Stronger, and Prescription, some Thugs, and a couple other movies. He's done a bunch of movies. They're all on Netflix.
Macho Man was in Spider-Man. So, top that.
He got his ass kicked by Spider-Man.
Bonesaw is ready!
Bonesaw.
Yeah, that's hard to top, man.
All right,
That was a
awesome,
big
man.
movie.
That was fun. That was a good fun top 5. All right, cool, guys. Make sure that you subscribe to the Facebook and SoundCloud. Make sure you like the Facebook page. Just keep the likes and everything coming. We like you guys commenting things on everything that we're saying. We appreciate it. If you guys have any topic suggestions or anything like that you want us to kind of like shoot the shit about, just shoot us a DM. You know, it's going down
Down
in
in
the DM.
We'll do it
It's
no
going
matter
down
what.
in the DM.
No.
It's going
We
Damn.
won't do it.
No matter what, we will do the thing that you
Top
suggest.
5 dick pics.
Yep.
Next one.
okay.
Next week.
Mine.
Just kidding.
Chris Brown's.
Bye.
See you guys. Thank you.
Hello.
Manifesto.